What's up, Ravens fans? It's time to answer your questions in our Ravens mailbag segment. Sarah Ellison is filling in for Ryan Mink this week while he's out of the office on vacation. And Sarah, obviously, lots of draft talk right now.
Lots of draft talk. It's about that time.
It is that time of year. Everyone wants to know who the Ravens are taking, and that's where we'll start this week's mailbag. The first question comes from Twitter. The question is, who would you take with the 16th pick as of right now?
Okay, well, I'm assuming that he means somebody other than this baby that's due draft week.
That's going to be the first round pick.
That'll be the first pick. And this time of year, all of us fall in love with somebody, right? I have fallen in with Mike Williams, the wide receiver out of Clemson. But I don't think the Ravens are going to go that direction. In my mind, the Ravens are going to address what I think is the biggest need, and that's at pass rusher. Because as nice as it would be to give Joe Flacco another weapon, and the Ravens have been really addressing the defense this offseason, I think they're going to continue it because Joe Flacco had the Ravens in place to win lots of games, and it was the defense that gave up late scores and I think spelled the difference between making the playoffs and not. So I think they're going to address pass rusher. No specific person, but I think there's a few guys like UCLA's Tack McKinley, Tennessee's Derek Barnett, or even Michigan's Taco Charlton. And you could get any of those guys who would really make a huge impact in making up for the loss of Elvis Dumervil and perhaps become the heir apparent of Terrell Suggs.
Yeah, you know what's interesting? You said you're kind of falling in love with Mike Williams.
Not kind of.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to take him.
Okay, good. I'd be happy with that.
You would be happy with that. I think that Mike Williams is exactly what the Ravens need. I said it over and over again. I think he checks all the boxes. Production, size, speed. I mean, he's done it all. He's done it on the biggest stage in the national championship for Clemson. So I think if he's available at 16, I really think the Ravens should consider taking him. It's interesting, though. Neither of us say corner.
No, and if you asked me 2 months ago, I would have.
Yeah.
But things have changed.
I agree. There's probably not going to be, just the way it looks right now, there may not be the right corner at that spot. So
they could still address it in the second or third round with lots of good cornerback depth.
I 100% think that's going to happen.
Okay.
All right, the next question, this one comes from Joe Schiller, and the question is, if the Ravens make a move, we're talking trades now, if they make a move in the first round, do you see them moving up or moving back? Well, I know historically Ozzie Newsome likes to move back, but I think that my gut says that if he's making a move in the first round this year, I think they're going up.
Oh, okay.
And the reason I think there's a lot of pressure and expectations to get a playmaker, whatever that guy looks like,
Right.
whatever that word means, the Ravens want to find a playmaker. And I think that when you move up, you have a better chance to do that. And also, I think there's a big expectation to win now. I mean, the Ravens want somebody who can come in, contribute from day one, be an impact player, not just a starter, not just a guy, but in that first round, they want a difference maker. And I just have a feeling that if there's going to be a year that Ozzie makes a move to move up, I think this is it.
I'm going to say the opposite. I think that if the Ravens move, they're going to move back. And here's why. I also agree that they want to win now, but there are a ton of holes on this roster. They still have more than 20 signings to make, and they have the least amount of picks they've had since 2010, just 7. That's not enough. So to me, I could see him trading back to acquire more picks later on and use those picks to address the offensive line in those mid-rounds.
We don't agree on much today.
No, we don't. But we'll move on to the next. I have a feeling we could agree on this one.
Okay.
This question comes from Chris. With only $6 to $7 million in cap room for the Ravens and still the draft class to sign, undrafted rookies, and free agents available to fill out the 90-man roster for camp, do you see more potential cuts? I would say yes, and one more time for emphasis, yes. And he already spelled it out. He spelled it all the math. Let's say they even have that higher end of $7 million. Shoot, I'd even give him $8 million. That's really not enough to address all of those things and still have enough money that you want to have as a cushion during the season for the inevitable injuries that you're going to have, and then therefore you're going to have to bring in more signings. So the trend I've seen so far this offseason is that Ozzie Newsome doesn't make salary cap saving moves until right before he brings in an addition. So I wouldn't be freaked out by that small cap number, but it is still small. And I've seen people talk about maybe Kyle Arrington or Benjamin Watson as places where you could find money. I'm not saying they're going to be cut, but you can bet that Ozzie Newsome and Pat Moriarty have a place on the roster where they say, here's where we can get more money when we bring in new players.
Yep, I totally agree with you. So that does it for all the mailbag questions this week. But as always, we'd love to hear from you guys. Send in more draft questions. Ozzie's going to be on the clock before we know it. Send in those questions every single week on social media. Use that hashtag RavensMailbag. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great rest of your day.